Hi everyone, Coyote Montana here, and I have a DVD to unbox, and I am really glad that I finally got this. This is Frosty Returns. Now, you might be wondering, did I already have this on DVD? Well, of course, but not in something like this, because, you see, if any of you remember that years ago, I told you that my parents got me this DVD, the original television Christmas classics that contains Rudolph, Frosty, Santa Claus, Little Drummer Boy, and Frosty Returns. You see, Frosty Returns was actually in this one in the bundle with this, of course. Yeah, and my mom actually said to me that it's a waste of money, even though I have the same thing. But here's the thing that my mom doesn't understand about, but my dad does. You see, what I'm doing is upgrading myself, just to make things a lot more better for me, of course. Just want to try something different, of course. I mean, come on. I know that ever since when I got this, and then I got the complete Reagan and Bass Christmas collection on DVD, it still has all of the four on that DVD, of course. They're just all remastered, of course. And that's why I'm wondering if this one is actually remastered, because the reason why, look at that. Released by the King of Animation, Universal. Yep, so Universal actually released this back in 2019. I've got this off of Walmart.com, of course, because I just want to see if it's actually fully remastered, and if it does, and if it shows the Universal logo for the opening and stuff, because I haven't seen any DVD unboxings of this, or even videos of the opening, of course, because we haven't seen how it looks and everything, of course. But yeah, I'm just glad that I got this. And plus, there's also another talk about this, and you're ready for that, and I hope you're ready for this. Now, if any of you actually remembered about Warner Brothers buying Netflix, of course, like I mentioned in the last two videos, so I've actually watched a video that San Valentino did, Zach Wolf, of course. So, San Valentino actually talked about it, and he was mentioning that a lot of people online were worried about this merge because they believed that the theaters would die out and everything and all of that, but according to San Valentino, Private Toon Detective from Zach Wolf, he did a lot of investigation and snooping, and he said that Netflix by Warner Bros. Would actually get them planned on getting into the theatrical movie business. Because Netflix is actually doing some movies that they're making, not just to put it on their streaming site, but they also want to put their movies in theaters, of course. Like an example, K-Pop Demon Hunters, that just came this year. They actually put that in the theaters, and people loved it. Love seeing it in the big screen. And now they're doing the same thing with the season 5 finale of Stranger Things. Volume 1 just came into theaters last month in November, and now this month Volume 2 and 3 are coming. Volume 2 is coming on Christmas in the big screen, and Volume 3 is coming in the big screen on New Year's Eve. That's when it's all happening. So Netflix is actually planning to get into the theatrical movie business. And like San Valentino said, they're actually getting into the movie business so that they can release the movie with Warner Brothers under the Warner name, of course, which explains it. And he actually did mention about physical media and stuff, which got me super worried that people were actually talking about it online, that Netflix is going to be putting that into a halt. And what it means by hold, of course. And it got me so worried because they could be out of print and stuff. And that's why I was thinking to myself that it might be best for me to get all of them, of course. Probably brand new conditions, etc., etc. But yeah, that got me so worried. Yeah, Stan Valentino actually said that the people online were actually talking about it. Yeah, he's talking about, like, you, Movies and Sue, and the rest of you who scared the living pants off of me on talking about this. You should just listen to what San Valentino say, of course. But I'll put a video of that in the link below when I get through with this. But not just that, but San Valentino also said this. I'm not going to show you the video, but listen what he actually said.
I hope Warner Archive can still stick around, But several people are speculating that they may indeed still be around, along with the regular Warner Home Video division that's a part of Studio Distribution Services.
So, for the first part, San Valentino said that Warner Archive will probably still be around, and they said that they may indeed still be around. And because since some of the Warner Bros. Movies on Blu-ray and DVD and stuff are being released of the other licensing of Studio Distribution Services, and it's actually true because here's the thing. Let me put this down. Studio Distribution Services was actually founded back in 2020 during the pandemic. Whew. Yeah. But the thing is, after it was found, that's when Studio Distribution Services actually stuck with two movie studios that are really big and successful. And what are they, of course? Let me grab one of the DVDs so you can see what I mean. And they are both Warner Brothers and Universal, of course. Because since they're under the part with Studio Distribution Services, because since they saw how successful they are with their movies and everything, that's why they're a part of it. That's why they've got everything going, of course. And to be honest, the very first time that I actually saw this Studio Distribution Services was actually on one Blu-ray that my mom pre-ordered, and the first time I actually saw that logo was on this Godzilla vs. Kong on Blu-ray and DVD. This is actually the first time I actually see Studio Distribution Services on here, and that's why when I got a lot more, I see this logo there, which is pretty nice, of course. But yeah. And that is true. But also, listen what San Valentino actually said.
A joint venture between Warner Brothers and Comcast's Universal for distributing home video. They even now handle distribution for Sony and Disney's home entertainment releases. So it's likely Netflix will begin utilizing Studio Distribution Services for such physical media releases, and that everything involving Warner Archive will stay the same.
Yep, so he said that since Netflix knows about Studio Distribution Services, it feels like that they want, I think Warner Bros. Should continue on with their physical media releases because since people were actually mentioning on it online, I mean, come on, how are we ever going to see the actual Warner Home Video logo and Warner Bros. Home Entertainment logo? You know, the bum 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 bum, you know, all that and stuff, of course, since we love seeing, of course. But yeah, and he said that Warner Archive will still be the same, of course. But yeah, like he said was true. Until that's just when Paramount hit a big hostile bid for $108 million. Because for our current president, and of course, and thanks, and that hostile bid was a part with his son-in-law, of course, because his daughter actually got married to that boy. If you ever wonder who he is, then you know who I mean by that. But I did hear that Warner Brothers is actually going to reject that bid, and once they reject that bid for $180 billion, it's going to hit Paramount hard, and I mean real hard. Wow, because it could cause a hostile takeover and shut down the animation studios and stuff, which kind of worries us, of course. But Warner Bros. Is actually sticking with the Netflix deal, of course. Thank God, of course, and they. Both Netflix and Warner Bros. Are actually planning on making a live-action Scooby-Doo series. And it's going to be coming out in 2026. It's going to be like a story on how the Scooby-Doo gang actually met at a camping site, of course. So yeah, that's very interesting. But just to be honest, there's something that I noticed, and it's something to do with both Warner Bros. And Paramount. They actually had a licensing deal back then. Because if any of you actually saw videos that I did, You see, I did the videos with Zodiac and Flags of All Fathers of All Flags, or Flags of Our Fathers. To be honest, the Warner Brothers logo is actually on the back and on the disc. And when I actually watch those two movies, it actually shows the Warner Brothers logo on there. So Warner Brothers and Paramount actually had a licensing deal together years ago. Yeah, that's a very interesting thing that I didn't notice, because first off, Paramount showed their logo, and then Warner Brothers too. It's like that Paramount want Warner Brothers to do this with them, and they said yes, of course, until everything became what it is now, of course. But yeah, so I believe that's the whole thing about Netflix and Warner Brothers, of course. But I am gonna put that video of San Valentino talking about it in the link below, of course. So now, let's get on with this. So yeah, so again, got this at Walmart.com since I actually wanted it. And there's also another thing that I'll be talking about, and it's something to do with both Universal and Warner Brothers, which is next time, of course. So here's the front cover of this. Looks really nice. Oop, here's the spine. And here's the back. And it says, Frosty's back for another adventure. Yep. It doesn't show any bonus features and stuff, but take a look at this. English SDH. This wasn't actually on the... That wasn't actually on this thing, of course. Not for these two, but only Rudolph. But now they're finally going to have the English subtitles on this, which we've been waiting for, of course. But now, let's get this open. Alright, so here's the disc, and it's all nice and red, just like the same thing with the complete Rankin and Bass Christmas collection. And it's in this nice case here, of course. And it's one of those DVD-Rs. Look at that. Nothing wrong with that. So it's actually one of those DVD-Rs. Wow. Looks like Universal has done a good job on that too. Good job, Universal. Yeah. But just to be honest, I believe that Universal has one of those DVD-R things with classic shows that they actually did. But I'll actually plan on getting them soon, of course. But yeah. So I'll be glad I'm watching this again. And I hope it's actually remastered, because if the 8 Rankin and Bass Christmas classics that are owned by Universal are remastered, then so can this one here, of course. But yeah. So let's hope for the best, that everything will go well. Be sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the like, send some comments, and hit the bell button for brand new videos, and I'll see you next time. Peace out, everyone. Bye.